Welcome to the New Health. As people are getting sicker at younger ages, we are bringing on thought leaders that are revolutionizing healthcare in their field. I'm your host, Jessica Preston. Today I have with me Josh Rimini, pharmacist who, along his path, found functional medicine, and the way to help people is not necessarily through pharmacy, but through a different method. Can you help us with that, Josh? Welcome.
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having me. This is amazing.
I'm so happy you're here with me today.
Oh my gosh. So
Start with your story. I would love to share that with our audience.
Well, everyone always asks, like, what do you do, right? And so it's who I am, right? So it's who I've become in my own health journey has paralleled with my professional journey. And so they're all intertwined. One, I'm an entrepreneur, but two, my journey as a cancer survivor led me to become a pharmacist. So at an early age, I was at 16, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and I had it was a terminal cancer. Like, it was I made it, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I thought going through at 16 through 19, chemotherapy, radiation, the traditional way, right? The traditional medicine oncology way was what I thought over those 4-year battle was what cured me of my chronic condition. So I really wanted to help other people. I was learning about all these bright colored medicines and long names injecting into me, killing me so I could be alive at 16, at a formative year, right? And so I decided medicine or pharmacy, and I ended up choosing the path of pharmacy and going into pharmacy school. I loved math and science, and I ended up becoming a pharmacist because I wanted to cure other people. I wanted to help them like other people helped me. I felt called to do that. And so I became a pharmacist. And then through that journey of discovery, I call it the short way, but it was really over a 10-year period of being a pharmacist where I was filling prescription after prescription, day after day, week after week. People would get a refill, they'd come in, but over time, their time span, they wouldn't get better. They would actually take more medicine, right? The doctor would say it's just a product of your aging, another chronic condition, another medication. So I started seeing this polypharma, right? Pharmacy coming through, getting the medicine. That's what we're taught in pharmacy school, how to take it right, no interactions, how to take your medicine correctly to give you the health outcome you needed. But the quest for why in my own journey also was linked to this whole process of they're not really getting any better, but their symptoms are being managed. So
right.
Chronic condition, right? The chronic condition. Now, acute care is very different. You get a sickness, you take a medicine, it gets done, right? That's how pharma started. That's where penicillin came from.
So infection, for like an acute infection, or if you,
I call it that RX evolution,
That's
right?
It, yeah.
The evolution of medicine started in the 40s with penicillin, with opium, with these pain meds.
When you hurt yourself so you could recover and then be done.
Acute.
Short-lived.
But pharmacy moved that model into chronic care, and we started to treat biochemistry, the chemistry in the body, right, to mask the symptom of blood pressure, the symptom of diabetes, the symptom of, of cholesterol and heart, all these things, they were being managed. And if the symptom was managed, then you were in a maintenance phase.
Yeah.
So get the medicine, keep coming. But over the years, it didn't satisfy me because I was cured. I didn't take chemotherapy for life.
Right.
I was done.
Right.
So there was this thing that didn't really match with me. And then I worked for the chains. I wasn't able to give the care I wanted. Then I said, I can do this better myself. The entrepreneurial side of me said,
Sure.
I can take care of people better. I wanted to take care of them. So I started my own pharmacy, figured out how to do that, but the same problem was there. So the solution to that problem wasn't in medicine. It wasn't in the true sense of that word, of the traditional model. So I started looking for other ways, which led me down compounding medications for hormones, which led me to clinical nutrition because We get about a week of that in pharmacy school, but everyone's asking like, what's the best omega-3? What's the best supplement? And we didn't learn that. So I learned clinical nutrition and I started using it in my practice and giving people quality nutritional products through supplementation. I started seeing biochemical shifts. I started seeing people getting better, which then led me down that rabbit hole of functional medicine,
Yes.
which I know you know about,
Yes.
and I know a lot of your people know about. And that is where I decided, oh, this is systems-based, true, I called it the science of wellness. So my analytical side says, yes, this is the answer. And so I started getting more into the root cause systems biology approach. This felt more like what I was looking for. So I got certified as a functional medicine certified practitioner through the Institute for Functional Medicine, which I believe is the base good spaces that's been doing with Mark Hyman and Jeffrey Bland. And I got certified as a pharmacist, but I was the 9th pharmacist to get certified in that modality. So it was kind of a unicorn.
Yeah, so Josh,
right?
you're cutting edge. Like, a lot of pharmacists are not in the functional medicine space, and this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring Josh to you, because in the pharmacy space, they have to have all of this knowledge of biochemistry, and I know you've heard me speak of biochemistry before, and it can make us cross-eyed a little bit, but at the same time, he has so much knowledge in those biochemical pathways that he has a great understanding as to the why. So functional medicine is really looking at, why is this going on in my body in the first place? Why is there something that isn't running optimally, or why is a system dysfunctional in some way? And that's where functional medicine comes in. And I'm just so happy, just as an aside, I'm just so happy that you're here in that space of pharmacy for us.
Well, and that's what was, as I was getting certified, and I was in the other category, because there's doctors, nurses, health coaches, all going through this process, and I was like, there's not many of us, right? So as a pharmacy owner, I was like, how do I build this into my pharmacy? Because it's not functional medicine, it's really functional pharmacy. And at the time, this is like, we're looking 8-10 years ago, right? So I was building process, building programs, building things, but I was getting good results along the way. This is the entrepreneurial spirit. Like, you get knocked down, but you stand up more than you get knocked down.
Yes.
So there's a lot of that. But using simplified things and then getting really complicated with my protocols, because I was learning more, but I started to realize that simple was actually getting me more results. And so I started really perfecting into, what are the things I can be doing for my patients that are simple, easy to implement, easy to understand, because that's what pharmacists do. We take all of that information, and I could take all that information about the drug you take, and I could give you 3 simple things that you need to know before you leave, because that's all we have time for.
Well, and that's what we at the pharmacy. Do you have any questions for the pharmacist? If you do, you ask the pharmacist, but you're proactive in that thought process of, what do you need to know?
Well, I was always like, what are the top three things I'd want you to know about blank before you leave? That we're going to give you value and to give you a better outcome, because we're always talking about outcomes.
Right.
But outcome symptom resolution wasn't good for me. So as I'm learning, I'm also getting results, and my colleagues are telling me, like, in the community pharmacy world, there's 20,000 community pharmacies, by the way. They're not small. Because people just think chain pharmacies, that's all you get, but the community pharmacies is where the interaction is. I've had one-on-one interactions with people since I was 15 years old in the back of a pharmacy.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have that connection with people, but I was also starting to talk to this with my colleagues in the community pharmacy setting. So I was starting to speak at the conferences and talk about the testimonials, which led me down this path of, right, Josh, how do you do this? Josh, what are you doing? Like, so I'd learn, I'd give continuing education to pharmacists, and then all of a sudden it became this, like, I have to teach more pharmacists how to do this. And so, I'm so excited because this new age of medicine, I love the new health that just, it's here, it's right here. We can do all this.
It's here now, as we were saying. It's here now. You're doing this work now.
And community pharmacy, well, pharmacists are the second most educated healthcare practitioners in the country. People don't realize we have doctorates.
Yeah.
I was 2 years removed from my doctorate because there wasn't at the time. But we're the most accessible healthcare practitioners. You see a pharmacist about 10 times more than you see your doctor every year. You can walk into a pharmacy and still see somebody, right? So we have accessibility, which is a big deal right now, to healthcare. And we have this army of really great trained pharmacists. We just have to shift their way of thinking. The biochemistry of omega-3 is the same as biochemistry of semaglutide Ozempic, right? We still learn the mechanisms of action, how it's absorbed, interactions, all that. So I've been teaching pharmacists for a long time how to use their knowledge base, how they're wired, into what I would call more of what the well care space is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for being here with us today. I hope you join us next week. I know you're joining us next week, where we're going to learn more about this and how people can learn how to be in that space of understanding it's simple. Can you please let everyone know how they can find you and what you're working on right now?
Sure. You can go to rx2wellness.com. It's kind of our landing page for all the resources that we're developing for people, because I'm starting to learn more about, not just doing this in my pharmacy in Charlotte, which is Dilworth Drug. They can look at my pharmacy and see it from the website. But rx2wellness.com is really a place where we can hub. My goal is to bring this to anybody that wants it, because now we're in the virtual setting. We can do all these things and it's not hard. So Wellness Made Simple is right there.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
I can't wait.
Please stay tuned after these messages for our next guest.